Hey guys, Snoozy here, and today we are going to be working on our Season 11 Natalya's Venom Whirlwind Sin. It's a mouthful, there's a lot going on there. However, this build is extremely easy to get up and running, requires only one item to get started. Natalya's set can be the worst parts you've ever seen, and it'll still work to get you started, and you can upgrade as you go. Almost everything in this build is very cheap to get started. You will need either the Chaos Rune Word or an Ohm Rune to get started. First off, let's start with our stats here. Strength to wear gear for this build, if you follow exactly, you'll need 185 strength total. Dexterity, I put a lot in here for hit rating. I like to try to keep that as close to 100% as I can. Since we're not wearing Raven's Frost, you're going to have a little bit harder of a problem. If you want to wear Raven's Frost, we'll show you. You can get that done, no problem. Rest into life. Mercenaries really don't matter too much. As you can see, this is pretty basic. Lava Gouts for Enchant Fire, that will get a little bit extra attack rating. Witch Wild String for that amplified damage on striking. Tau Rashes for resistance and leech. Gladiator's Bane just for the cannot be frozen. String of Ears, more life leech and physical damage reduction. And Gore Riders, because Gore Riders are kind of insane, really. Mercenary, like I said, doesn't matter too much. You can also use an Act 2 for Defiance to get that physical damage reduction on there. Really, with Whirlwind Assassins, once you get geared, you're moving so fast, your Mercenary doesn't do much anyways. We have the Witch Wild for that amp proc, really just for bosses in the maps to help things along there. For the skills, you're going to max your Claw and Dagger, you're going to max Venom, and you're going to max Cobra Strike and Blade Shield. Once you have that done, you can either put some more into Shadow Warrior's weapon block. I've been doing Burst of Speed just for a little bit more movement speed myself. It's important to note that you'll need one in the Tiger Strike. Tiger Strike, even though it doesn't tell you anywhere, even on the Claw or on Blade Dance, will increase the range that your Whirlwind will hit. So you'll want to keep 3 charges of that up at all times, but you only want to put 1 point into that. The reason we do Blade Shield is because it can do on-hit effects such as your Venom. And I think Crushing Blow? Could be wrong. There's been multiple changes with how these work. Now with the Natalya set, you'll get 1 extra Shadow Warrior. As you can see here, we have 2. That is why we put Blade Sentinel on left click, because that'll allow these guys to go ahead and use Blade Sentinel, and that helps clear up a couple stragglers and a little bit more damage output, because sadly they will not use Blade Dance to help you. Now let's get into the gear. This is the Chaos Claw. This is the item that is required. You have to have this claw if you want to play the build. If you don't have this claw, you can't use Whirlwind, so you're not much of a Whirlwind Sin, are you? But you want to put it in an Ethereal War Fist to get started. If you don't have a good base, still get an Ethereal War Fist. Doesn't matter about the plus skills in the bottom in the beginning. I put mine in a +3 Venom Claw because I hate pre-buffing, but you can do whatever you want. The rest of the set is going to be Natalya's helmet. Now, keep in mind, this one is slammed with cannot be frozen. This allows us to go ahead and drop our Raven's Frost, so we no longer need Raven's Frost for cannot be frozen. I'm still unsure here. I've failed a bunch on getting a 2-socketed puzzle box on this. I am thinking I have to upgrade this to Bone Visage and then puzzle box it. From when I was looking at the filters, it didn't seem like I had to do that, but I've not gotten my 2-socket. So keep that in mind. If you're going to follow and you really want to go with that 2-socket one, you're going to want to do some research, figure it out. If I eventually get it, I'll let you know how I got it in the comments or description below. The other option is if you don't like the cannot be frozen and you want even more damage, you can go and get a 3-socketed corrupted one and put 3 facets in there. We're going to be using facets for every single slot on this build other than in our Chaos Claw, of course. So endgame, I would like a cannot be frozen with 2 facets in there, or you can go with 3 facets and get your cannot be frozen somewhere else. I have been focusing on the minus poison damage. I'm sorry, minus poison resistance, more so than the damage. And in an ideal world, if I was super rich, I would do 5/5 for all of it, but I'm not. This just has a 3/3 in there because it's a temporary helmet. One thing to note is it does give you strength and dexterity and resistances. So if you're going to be swapping your helmet out a lot, make sure that you'll still have at least 185 strength to wear a belt. Here, we're going to be using the Natalya's armor. You want 3 shadow skills and 3 sockets on here, and then this is slam for a +1 to all skills, and then faceted with facets for minus 15% to enemy poison resistance. We're going to use a Nat Claw here, try to get the highest rolls you can with 3 open sockets, and again, we are going to put in facets. And you guessed it, we are going to continue on using Natalya's boots. These are slammed with the faster run walk. Faster run walk is really good for this build. It really increases your clear speed. The thing to note here is eventually it does have diminishing returns and you will not get a true amount of run walk anymore. There's charts online to help guide you with this. For our belt, we're going to go ahead and use Sigurd's Staunch for the 20% crushing blow, iron skin, and increased life. This is 185 strength to wear this. We have a lot of strength already because we need 149 for the armor. And this is a nice belt. If you don't want to do this, you go something like String of Ears for a little bit less strength. Venom grips for the crushing blow, life leech, and poison scale damage. I got faster block rate on my gloves. I would rather have enhanced damage. This was just a 15% that I got and then slammed. But enhanced damage will be here for a little bit more leech and a little bit more physical damage. Jewelry is going to be a High Lord's Wrath for the +1 skills and Deadly Strike and a little bit of resistance. If you're having problems with resistances, you could use Amara's here. Both rings are Wisp Protectors for the +1 skills, Lightning Absorb, and the Magic Find. The big thing here is Heart of the Wolverine, which lets you summon this little guy here, which gives you more physical damage and attack rating. Very important. Really nice to have. Charms are going to be all resistance charms with life. I would recommend some faster run walks with resistances if you can get them. Standard Torch and Annie, nothing needed here. You can get the lowest of the low if you really want to. I use a Geeds just because I like Geeds. If you don't, use another skiller here in this section. And for your skillers, you're going to use +1 Shadow Discipline and 7% faster run walk. Right now, these are pretty expensive. I've been buying them for 1 high rune, but I see them listed all the way up for 2. Don't know if they're selling at 2. I'm only buying at 1. I don't have all of them. I'm still using some plain ones here, as you can see. And again, all you need to get this build started is this chaos. Now, this is going to be personal preference. I like Call to Arms with this build just for the battle orders. It's a habit. It's probably not the best. You're probably better off going with pre-buff claws of 6 Venom claws if you can get your hands on that. Or if you want a nice little budget build, you can try to get the unique claw for Assassin. It's like Shadow Killer, I believe is the name of it. Has 4 to Shadow Discipline, so if you dual wield it, you'll get 8 to Venom. I like Call to Arms, but if you're playing in a group or have another source of battle orders, or you just want to keep switching your stuff out, you can do so. One thing to note here, though, is when you go ahead and you buff yourself, you'll notice one of your shadows will disappear. You'll need to re-summon your shadow when you switch back to Nats, and that's because the full set gives you an additional shadow now. So you'll want to go ahead and get your buffs. Notice how this shadow did not buff itself. Sometimes they just refuse to, and it can be kind of annoying, so pay attention on which ones are actually buffing. That said, I didn't grab a map like a doofus, so let's just grab a map. These aren't anything special here. They are on Horizon's memory. I like Horizon's memory because of the layout. This is just a little baby map. There's nothing difficult about this, so it's just the layout that I'm looking for. I've done most of the unique maps with this character. Haven't really had any problems. Uber Ancients were a joke. Yeah, so like even though this is a low-end map, your character can do much higher. I do tier 3s as well. I really don't have that much problem. I don't die very often. Now, as I was saying, you're going to want to make sure that you get your Tiger Strike up to 3 charges and keep them at 3 charges. You'll notice a huge difference in your clear speed. But other than that, that's the end of the video. So this is just going to be me showcasing how it is in a map as I zoom around. And I'm not really going to be doing much talking here. This is just going to be letting you guys see it. If you guys have any questions, ask in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. I try to answer everything. And let me know if you guys like the build. I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles. You guys are noticing some slow whirlwind speeds because I'm currently lagging in game. So when you start lagging, you'll notice that. You can keep an eye out for the ping in the top right hand corner when you notice it to see what's going on.